Good morning, dear all. And on behalf of the Skill Council for Green Job, we are pleased to welcome you all to the webinar on entrepreneurial opportunity in solar energy. So I welcome our CEO, Dr. Praveen Saxena, and would like to request to say a few kind words on this occasion, sir. This is a very auspicious occasion. We are going to start this continuous webinar series on solar energy. Say just for you, sir, to give few kind words on this, sir. Sir, you are mute, sir.
Welcome to all the participants of this webinar series. Today we have a very important webinar which is being done by Mr. Vamsi Krishna, Director, Institute of Solar Power, Energy and Vocational Training. In fact, Skill Council for Green Jobs decided that we will do a series of 75 webinars on the occasion of 75 years of celebrating 75 years of our independence. This is a part of Government of India initiative to create more awareness and more sensitization about the celebrations we do on the occasion of 75 years. I'm happy that we started this series, and probably a major focus of the entire series would be on renewable energy, sustainable development, and waste management. The first inaugural webinar in this series was done last week on 24th of September, where the Chairman Skill Council for Green Jobs was also present. And I'm sure a number of you must be present in that inauguration. Once again, I welcome all of you to this series, and I would request that kindly continue joining this series. It would be on every Friday at 12 o'clock at different topics. Of course, a major portion would be on new and renewable energy technologies, but we would also like to cover waste management, solid waste management, waste water treatment plant, how they operate, how they work, and of course a series would be on biomass, biogas, improved cook stoves, and also how do you really manage the agriculture waste, which is one of the major problems. With this, I would request to start today's session and request Mr. Vamsi Krishna to kindly take over the floor and start. Mr. Vamsi.
So thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for the opportunity that SCGJ has given me, and especially you, sir. It's been an honor and a privilege to be a part of the SCGJ family since the inception onwards. There are no words to describe actual association that we have with SCGJ and the kind of work that SCGJ has been doing in this field. So with this, I request, I'm now starting my session. See, basically what we are talking today is about entrepreneurial opportunities. I think you have to give me the screen sharing option, Arpit.
Go ahead and share.
Before we start, we'd like to give a small introduction about you, and then probably you can.
Yeah.
Over to you, Prem.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, with the kind words. Thank you, CEO, sir, for briefing this whole webinar series, basically. So, dear participant, welcome you again on this occasion. And I would like to introduce, today we have with us Mr. Vamsi Krishna. He's the founder of Institute of Solar Power Technology and Vocational Training. He has been author, entrepreneur, and mentor for many of the young minds like you to help them in becoming a successful entrepreneur. He is alumnus of IIT Madras and have over 16 years of experience in solar industry across different capacity. So throughout his career, he has been instrumental in installing a lot of solar projects, a lot of mentoring as expert for student, guide them to become a successful entrepreneur. He has been a master trainer in many of our qualification pack like solar PV installer, Shurmitra, solar PV installer, electrical, in solar rooftop photovoltaic entrepreneurs, and in the solar proposal evaluation specialist. So he has been vast experience across the different segment of the solar industry. So I would like to welcome Mr. Vamsi Krishna today on this occasion, and I believe this training would be going to be more interactive in terms of knowledge sharing among the candidates. So over to you, sir, and you may start your session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prem. Thank you for your kind words.
Sir, you can share your screen.
Yeah, I'm doing that. So am I visible now to everyone?
In fact, Prem, you forgot to mention, we should be proud to tell to our audience that Mr. Vamsi Krishna was the first award-winning trainer or master trainer and his institute from Skill Council for Green Jobs way back 3 years back, Vamsi?
2017, sir, 17, 18.
Yeah. So he was the first medallion from Skill Council for Green Jobs as far as trainer and master trainer. He has outstanding capabilities of delivering trainings.
So,
yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, sir. See, I have a request to all the audience. Kindly let us keep this very interactive. Reason is, just we are on a virtual platform, and as a speaker, as one amongst you, if I have to understand whether whatever I'm speaking is actually making sense or not, then the only mode is a question and answer, right, session. So in between, whoever has any question, kindly raise your hands so that the mic will be on, and let us keep this very, very interactive. And one small suggestion to all the audience, first and foremost, we as Indians are very fond of cricket, right? So as a cricket playing nation, what is the link between an audience and the speaker? The speaker is like a wicket keeper, and the audience are like bowlers. They have the opportunity now to bowl any kind of a ball. Let it be googly, let it be leg side, let it be wide, let it be a straighter, or anything that you talk about, any kind of ball without thinking much, whether the person on the opposite side or at back of the crease can catch that ball or not. So forget about whether the question that you're going to ask is proper for this particular minute or not. Just throw your question, and we would love to make this a very interactive session, right? The reason is then only it makes sense. One more point, whatever questions you're asking, believe me, you're going to help all those people who are in this room to understand things much better. Some of them might not be able to articulate the question, so they might listen to your question and those doubts will also be cleared. So I request you to kindly make sure that there is a lot of questions during this entire presentation. We can stop for 5 minutes and talk, right? No problem at all. Thank you. Thank you to each one of us who are there today. I'm thanking myself also. Reason is, all of us have made time to understand the importance and the business models that are there, what are the opportunities that are there in solar business, because that is the motto with which I came into solar. I am here in solar energy sector since 2008, and in the last previous session that we have taken for World Skills, we explained why I was here and how I was here, right? So I don't want to repeat all that, but there are so much, the space is just expanding. The envelope is expanding day by day. It is expanding to such a capacity that solar itself, recently we are talking about after the UNGA and then the COP summit now that is going to happen. One of the targets that people are talking about is renewable energy grid, international grid, connecting all countries. That is going to be an amazing development that is going to happen. And we in our lifetimes are going to see this happen. So that is the kind of opportunities. Just close your eyes and visualize, how this connectivity, interconnectivity between countries, and then transfer of energy from zone to zones. If you go to America, the daytime is, some of the states, sunshine hours or 12 hours exactly from our side of the planet. So imagine the 24 hours energy availability and what changes that it can make to you and me and to the whole world in one lot, right? So that is the kind of exponential opportunities that are available. Now, when we talk about opportunities in solar energy sector, entrepreneurship, it is not only entrepreneurship, but also employability. Because what do you mean by employability? Employability is jobs and also entrepreneurship, right? So once the entrepreneurs like you who are interested and coming into this field, starting your own businesses, different models come into the field, automatically the possibility of and opportunities for employment will also increase, because you as an entrepreneur or as a job creator will create a lot of jobs, support this ecosystem. Last week when the professor was talking, he was talking about COP26 goals that we were talking about. Everything, if you look at it, you talk about health, you talk about infrastructure, you talk about mobility, everything is related to green energy now. Slowly it is all coming down to the sun. So one thing that all of us have to understand is, right from mother's womb until we go back into the grave, the last step, it is only the sun which sustains us. So that is the power of sun, and that is solar energy for you in one word. Now, the opportunity that it creates. Earlier, we were talking about, dissipated solar energy applications, like, the localized applications, solar hybrid inverters, we were talking about solar home lighting systems, we were talking about street lights, we were talking about solar fencing, we were talking about solar water heating systems, n number of things, solar cookers, right? Solar cookers, when I say both normal box type cookers and shufflers and things like that, there was n number of applications that were being used and still being used. It doesn't mean that they have become obsolete, right? They are also being used now, where there is a lot of opportunity for you guys. Second, the most important thing is the grid tie systems, the rooftop power packs. The solar rooftop power pack has actually changed the entire dynamics of the game. Consider between your initial investments between solar off-grid systems and the solar grid tie systems. What was the price at that point of time? Price points at that point of time and now, but for creating the same 1 kilowatt rooftop, if you look at all these things and the cost of ownership. When I say cost of ownership, what do you mean by cost of ownership? The cost of ownership is, the life of the modules is 25 years. The system that you're going to install is going to work for a minimum of 25 years, right? There are systems which are working even at 30, 32 years in the world, might be not in India. So if we look at that angle, then how many, if it is an off-grid system, at every 5 years interval or a 7 years interval, you have to replace your battery bank. There is at certain level that you have to replace, say 15 years, 12 to 15 years or 20 years down the line, you have to replace your cables. There might be requirement to replace your electronics. All these things might come in, especially the charge controllers when we talk about, they were the frequent failures that we had, because at the earlier stages of solar introduction or off-grid systems, we had these PWM systems, PWM charge controllers, and they were failing frequently. And charge controllers don't come cheap. They are expensive. So these are the ownership costs that I'm talking about. And vice versa, you look at today when we are going directly into the grid, connecting and tying our systems to the grid, pumping that every drop of energy that is being generated on the rooftop power pack into the grid, the ownership cost. There is no battery replacement. The life of the inverter has, immensely extended. The reason is it has beautiful features called anti-islanding, right? It has its safety features. It stands up with the new technologies where even the power factor, if there is a variation in a small power factor in the grid itself, this smart inverters that are coming into place are able to correct that power factor in the grid up to certain range, right? Look at the beauty of these inverters. So your life of the inverter, the equipment also, BOS, balance of systems also have increased drastically. People have understood that what is the kind of cable that you need to use before at the input stage of the inverter, and what is the cable that you need to use post at the output side of the inverter. Earlier, this was not there. When we came into the field, we were learning at the cost of the customer. Today you have a wonderful opportunity with the, like the Sector Skill Council for Green Jobs has created so much of content that every entrepreneur who is going now should make sure that he knows the intricacies, not only of the business, but also of the technology itself, and then enter into the business so that the technology does not fail. It is people without knowledge entering into the business or failing the technology because they don't know how to install. So the basic aspect for entrepreneurship, basic requirement is knowledge. Trying to do things with your own hands for at least for a certain period of time, and then building your business on the knowledge and the skills that you have got in your hands, and then building it slowly, step by step. And when I say step by step, life itself is a SIP. What is SIP? Today, in this world of stock markets and NFTs and Sensexes, all this, mutual funds, SIP is a commonly used word, systematic investment plan. It is the same thing with the business also. Now let us come to the opportunities. What are the opportunities that you have today in the grid tie sector? When we talk about off-grid, yes, slowly we are moving out. On the off-grid side, you have street lights, you have solar fencing in a huge, large areas like, now the solar fencing is running into kilometers. They're trying to fence the forests. Do you know this? Lot of forests where elephant population is there, where animal population is high. Solar fencing is being used very, very rampantly by the government of the day to protect population from the wild animal menace. Likewise, solar water heating system. If you go down to some states, for example, if you go to Karnataka, I studied in Bangalore and my schooling was from Bangalore. So basically, even in our days, it was 1 second. Just hello. Okay. Yeah. I'm not moving it. I'll move it. Yeah. I'm just talking. So basically, what even when I was studying in Bangalore, when my school days, right at that level itself, I'm talking about early 90s, at that level itself, if somebody has to go and build a house in Karnataka, you have to have mandatorily installed solar water heater for you to get the NOC from the concerned municipal corporation. Your plan to get approved, you have to deposit certain amount of money, which was the cost of that solar water heater with the municipal corporation. Then only your plan would get approved. Once the building is constructed, the authorities would come and verify, check whether that water heater is installed or not. If it is not installed, they used to use that money to install the water heater. That was the kind of compliance that was built in to the system of property plan approvals itself. And now a lot of states are getting into that mode. Look at the opportunity, right? So there are companies, the power costs are going up day by day. If you look at Telangana now, where I am from right now, Hyderabad, we were charged around 7 rupees 50 paise, and now there's a proposal before SERC that the price be increased by 1 rupee bare minimum. So it is going to be 8 rupees 50 paise any time, right? There is an election, so post elections, definitely the price is going to go up. So these price fluctuations are going to pinch, and adoption of solar. COVID is not only brought in bad news, but also brought in a lot of good news. People have become aware of environmental impacts. They've got aware of the impacts that it can create, the damage that we are creating to the environment, and how environment can take revenge on us. This is a revenge that it is being taken. And keeping that in mind, lot of people, lot of domestic customers are today willingly asking for solar installations, rooftop power packs on their roofs, without even thinking about whether there is a subsidy or not. Before, the solar PV installers or integrators or businesses, solar entrepreneurs used to sell subsidies, and based on that subsidy, the systems used to be installed. Now it is reverse. Role reversal has been done. We are talking about, even if there is no subsidy, we are ready to get a system installed at our place. That is the kind of awareness and the opportunity that this COVID has opened up in general. Now let us look at the financial models. There's a capex model where the consumer self-finances it and owns the asset, right? So there are different things. Accelerated depreciation, I think, is almost out now. It is in the final stages. I think they have reduced it very much. But earlier there was accelerated depreciation for this particular model. Then there is an OPEX model. OPEX model is, along with your home loan, nowadays, along with the home loan itself, you can inbuild solar rooftop power pack quotation also into it, and they will fund that particular rooftop power pack. So as your home loan goes, the customer will start paying EMIs for this particular thing also, because it becomes a part of the home loan itself. So these kind of models also exist where the installments are paid. Some OPEX models are also there where, you and me who work as investors, we go and put up their systems. We, instead of taking the money and then installing the system, full-fledged model where they own it as a capex model, what we do is, okay, my system is going to be on your roof. Whatever is being generated and being used, we will bill you every month. Like how you get your utility bill, likewise, we will bill you every month. So this way, there is a certain period for which the tariffs are fixed, and then there is a variation from then on for every 2 years, 3 years, based on the agreement that you enter with that particular customer, and then the tariffs vary. So the ownership might last for 15 years, in some cases might last for 25 years, depends on how the economics are being worked out, right? So this is the OPEX model that we are talking about. Then the performance, I am having a problem here. Okay. Then the perform or perish model. This is again, very clearly the OPEX kind of a model where the customer starts paying. He pays 90% of the total cost, and then the rest over a period of next 5 years. So 5 years, it is basically you are guaranteeing him certain amount of production, energy production. And against your production, whatever guarantees that you're giving, assume that, I go to a customer and say that I'm going to put up a system on your rooftop. You pay me 90% of the cost, and then the balance 10%. You can pay me every year. Your rooftop is going to generate, assume per month, is going to generate 90 units. 1 kilowatt will generate 90 units of energy, 90 kilowatt peak per month. So into 12 months is what it is going to generate. So if it reaches that saturation, that level, then you pay me the 2%. If it does not, then you have milestones where he will start paying me, reduce the payment, and then deduct whatever is the cost, additional cost that he had incurred on his bill, and then he will pay me only that amount. So now 90 kilowatt peak, it has to generate. Whose responsibility it is? It is the integrator, system integrator and system installer's responsibility to ensure that the 90 units are generated by that 1 kilowatt pack. What is the benefit that the customer is getting? The customer gets something like an AMC, annual maintenance contract kind of a thing, where for the next 5 years, the integrator takes the responsibility of the entire maintenance of the system. He ensures, because his interest is interlocked in it, so he ensures that the product delivers whatever is being promised. So this is one of the model. See, the same thing we are talking about. In 1 year, if the system produces 4.5, if the system produces 4.5 units, customer to pay 100% of 2%. If it pays 4.3 units, it generates 75%. Then if there's only 4 units, then he might not, it is totally waived off. The 2% that he has to pay is waived off. Look at how strict this particular generation capacities are being committed by the integrator. So this makes sense for the customer too. Now, same model, we are showing it in a different view. Advantages: it's a flexible and transparent pricing model. Flexible. So here, you are very clear of what is the generation and what is your input cost. That is, the system that you are installing at what cost, and then what is the cost of that energy being procured. So everything is very transparent because everything is in white and black, right? So your terms of agreement, which we call, if you are pumping it into the grid, then the consumer or the purchaser is a DISCOM. In such case, the PPA we call it, right? Power purchase agreement. So likewise, between the customer and the integrator, this is one of the models where everything is written on paper, black and white, and then the guarantees, what is the warranty period, how he is going to, what is the handling charges. Handling charges, when we say, we talk about, let's say the entire BOS or BOM costs are given directly, against which we say, if you are going to procure, assume that, we will show you where to procure. If you are going to invest and procure and then bring it to the location, there are no charges. If you want us to procure, then we are spending our time and energy in doing that activity. So there is certain amount of cost to the company. So that cost, we will collect it from you, which can be around 10 to 15%, right? So if he is doing it, he is going to save that 10% or 15%. Whereas if he wants us to do it in this particular model, he has to pay additionally 10 to 15%. And then the installation, handling charges, and all those things that come in along with, which makes up to that 20%. Normally, any entrepreneur would like to look at his 20% margins, right? Average. So that 20% margins are taken care of. If he is doing the legwork and you are only going to do the installation part, you are getting, and then, testing and then commissioning of that particular system, you get money only for installation, testing, and commissioning. If you are doing the procurement, installation, testing, and procurement and commissioning, then you get the money for the entire activity. This is how this particular model works. So whatever is the, here there might be, now there is no service tax, it is more of GST. So till now, till earlier, assume now, till as of 30th of September, the tax GST was 5%. Now they have increased it from October 1st to 12%. Unfortunately, even yesterday, there was no GO that was released. We were expecting a GO to be released, but announcement has already been made, right? We are waiting for the paper to happen. Now, this is another model. This is BOOT. So this is build, own, operate, and transfer. So here, again, the earlier models that we were talking about, everything will come into play. Here, we will build the system at our cost. We will operate it. we will sell power, right, through a PPA or whatever it is, and then after operating for certain period, as mentioned in the agreement terms, we will transfer that system. After recovery of the money, we will transfer that system to the owner. This is the build, operate, transfer model and the RESCO model. Normally, these RESCO models and boot models, they come into existence in the commercial establishment scenario where 100 kilowatts and above is used, mostly in the factories, where there is a consistent load operation, consumption that happens. So this boot and RESCO mostly comes in the factories, industries, R&D centers, healthcare, hospitals, these kind of commercial establishments where consumption is very high. In malls, we have set up a boot model, rooftop power pack here in there is an IMAX theater in Hyderabad. It's called as Prasad's. So on that, way back in 2010, we have set this model, and then we are operating it even today, right? And another 2 more years, we will transfer that to them. So boom model here will build, operate, and maintain. Simple. So these are less than 5 kilowatts. So the ownership is with the owner. He will invest, and then we will only build and operate it. So it depends on how many years and what is the terms of engagement with the particular owner, right? Here you become an EPC contractor. Then the RESCO model. Any questions till now? Anything that you want to ask? Anyone?
No hand raised, Vamsi, sir.
Yeah. Anything in the chat box?
Not for now, sir.
Okay. So normally, how do we come up with the boot model? See, any rooftop for that instance, we everywhere, wherever you go, you must have seen this Maruti advertisement. Of late, there is a Maruti advertisement which used to come, where a person of Indian origin goes to a MiG-29 aircraft and a Sukhoi aircraft, which is on display in aero exhibitions. And then he asks them, "Kitna deta hai?" What is the mileage? You know this? You saw this advertisement? So it is the same thing. Our mental setup, human psychology is that okay, I'm going to invest now here a lakh of rupees. So how much am I going to get in return? If I go to a bank and say I'm going to put an FD, the first thing that I want to know is what is the interest rate that I'm going to get, and then compare it with what I am getting right now in my savings bank account. Recently I went to a bank, and my savings bank account gives me about 3.5% rate of interest, whereas an FD gives me about 5%. But when I look at the ROI, return on investment, and then take taxation and all that into calculation, I was landing up somewhere at around 2 to 2.5% after that 5%. So I said, no, I don't want to go into an FD. Let my money be in a savings account. So look at the psychology. Even though I am telling you about this, even I behaved the same way. I do my internal calculation. So it is very important to have internal calculations, because we are not that cash rich. So we have to understand why we are investing, what is the output of that investment that we are making. So normally, how do you, as an entrepreneur, explain the ROI? We talk about, first we take about in the last 12 months of utility bills, whatever he must have got. And based on that, we come to an understanding what is his average consumption over the last 12 months. Why we take 12 months? Because we are considering all the 4 seasons that we experience in this 1 year period cycle. Winter, summer, rainy, and then, the normal autumn. everything is considered, and then what is the consumption is averaged out. So you get an actual figure of the average. Otherwise, what will happen if you assume that you are going in March or you are going in October and then asking them to give you last 6 months? What will happen? You are only seeing summer, April to October, peak of summer, and might be peak of starting of winter. So your average, you will not get an annual average there. So irrespectively, you have to take the 12 months period and then evaluate and come to an average. And based on that, you have to look at what is the kind of system that you're going to install, and you have to explain that in what is the cost of that system going to be, and how you are going to recollect that money, the solar payments that we talk about. So normally the best thing that happens is, in India, almost all the states are doing, the billing happens in a telescopic manner. Have you heard about the telescopic manner? This telescopic manner is, there is a slab, 0 to 50, 51 to 100, 101 to 150, 151 to 200. This is the 50-50 model that we have. At every 50, there is a change in the pricing. Now, in my state, the state where I am, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, both the states, here telescopic model looks slightly different. When you are billing it in earlier days before 2014, the billing used to be, if I consume 200 units, then they used to calculate like this only: 0 to 50 at one rate, 51 to 100 at one rate, 101 to 150 one rate, 151 to 200 at one rate. So all this put together is my bill. Now the situation is totally different. How do they bill it? Until 50, 0 to 50 is the same price. The minute I touch 51, 0 to 51 is the same price. The 51 price, whatever is the 51 cost, units cost, that is going to start right from 0 onwards. If I touch 101, then 101 slab will hit right from 0 onwards. So this is the structure that they have changed. So if you're looking at the overall financial impact of using this particular energy, the cost of your energy is at the highest point. Assume that you are consuming 210 units, then your entire cost of power would be at the cost of the 210 unit slab, not at the 0 to 50 slab, which effectively means that right from 0 onwards, or 1 onwards, 0 also we can say, because if you don't use also, there is a consumer commitment charges that are charged. So right from 0 onwards till whatever is your consumption, it is one rate. So your rates are going to give you a real cascading effect. So this avoid cascading effect, you have to design a system which can reduce that, or compensate or remove that entire consumption. You cannot remove it totally. You have to reduce it to the lowest slab. Lowest slab, when I say maximum, he should be able to use within that 50 units. So that should be the power generating capacity of your power pack that you are suggesting on his particular roof. Now, if you are suggesting in such a way, then you have to look at how is this payment. Here you're talking about a model where you are going to build, you are going to operate, and you are going to transfer it at a later date. So here he is going to pay you as utility bills. How he is paying the utility bills. There is no change for him, right? So entire cost or whatever is the agreed period of time, you have to now face this. So he might say, okay, right now my cost of power is 7 rupees 50 paise. I will pay you at the rate of 7 rupees 50 paise for the next 3 to 5 years. Then post that, there will be a 10% or a 15% cost increase based on what it is, and every year from there on you can increase. After attaining certain level, you now since you have invested, you will calculate your interest on the investment for that long period, right? And when you say interest, please don't calculate at 3 rupees, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, because this is all not possible. So your rate of interest cannot exceed 18%. So calculate in such a way and then break it down to monthly things and then look at how much per unit you have to charge. So this is one of the model that normally is used. These are some of the examples of boom model that we are talking about. So Solar City PPA. These are self-explanatory. That's why I'm keeping quiet. I'm not explaining. I hope you're able to see these slides and then understand it. This is the previous. Here we are talking about pay for the energy that is being generated. Here we are talking about boom model with the PPA model against purchase, direct purchase by the customer, owning that particular system itself. These are lease models. Assume that, when I say lease model, assume that, there is a polytechnic college or an engineering college. Now AICTE has mandated them that, every engineering college or a polytechnic college which comes under AICTE invariably has to have a solar rooftop power pack. It is mandatory. And it is based on the amount of roof that is available. Normally, any small engineering college today has about 100 kilowatt minimum rooftop power packs. Most of it is their own investment because AICTE is giving them some kind of a subsidy in tow with MNRE, and also funding it to a certain extent, giving it as a loan, soft loan and things like that. But in most of the cases, there are few engineering colleges where we have gone and installed the system, and we are taking we have leased out the system to them, and they are paying us a lease amount. These kind of systems, this kind of model also exists. So these are the monthly payments that we are talking about. These are some of the leasing companies in US. So I have taken that because we Indians have a lot of what do you say, love towards white skin. So I thought this is the best example that we can talk, because it will immediately register. PPA model, very clearly there is option to purchase available power, whatever power is available, or even the system itself over a period of time, right? And there is no guarantee, production guarantees that are there. Only payment is on whatever is being produced. So assume that you're a 100 kilowatt system. On a cloudy day, it is producing less than, normally it has to produce something around 300 to 700 is about 900 units per month. But on an average, it has to produce what? About 30 units, or in that 30 units on a cloudy day, it has only produced 17 units. So here under PPA model, he is going to pay on unit that has been produced and supplied to him. He will not pay for the 30 units that actually we have shown him, right? Whereas in the lease model, it is not like that. We have leased out the entire thing for him, right? The system itself. and then he will pay us that lease amount. That is one model. The second model is if we are leasing out with production guarantees, again, that production guaranteed amount will be whatever is production that will be done. This, rooftop leasing, the biggest business. This model was initially, in India, it was initially done in Bangalore, HMR layout. Our entire community rooftops were leased out by one young chap. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, but this guy had gone to MNRE even before the national solar mission was launched, asking for permissions because he did not get permission from the BESCOM. So he went there. He tried in his level best. Even the Ministry of Power he had gone, has not got that permission. But now it is very, 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 very widely in use. If your roof is vacant, somebody comes down and says, "I'll lease it out." They will give you a rent for your roof, like how the telecom towers are coming up. Likewise, the solar power units are coming up on a leased premises, leased roofs. Here, it is a mutual benefit actually, because your entire investment in the land comes down drastically. You don't need to buy a house to have a roof and then use that roof for solar generation. Here you are going to use small amount of money to pay as a rent, and which will come to you back based on the power, through the power purchase agreement. Whatever sale that you're doing of that particular energy to either to DISCOM or to any of the third party that you are selling that power, from that money itself you can pay this rent. So it is a win-win for everybody. So the owner of the building is getting rent. The entrepreneur who is doing an investment and then putting up this rooftop and selling it to a third party, he is getting his money for the investment that he has done. These are for megawatt scale. So when we talk about, till now we were talking all about rooftop power packs. So look at the models that are available in rooftop power packs. There is boot, there is leasing, roof leasings, right? These are the different models. You also have, in addition to all this that I'm showing you, you have a very big opportunity as a micro entrepreneur. When I say a micro entrepreneur, if assume that tomorrow, based after this particular lecture, and people who are listening to this lecture are not certified by the Skill Council, and they go into the market and try to find opportunities, and assuming that the investment capacity of these particular individuals, whoever are there, is very, very limited. Assume, I can only invest about 50,000 rupees to start with. What is the options that you have will be very narrowed. Reason is you don't have the skills that are required. You don't have the knowledge that is required to even visualize what is the scope that exists. So what is the difference between a trained and an untrained person? If you look at a small Surya Mitra, the solar PV installer who has completed his 3 months training program or 1 month training program under different schemes, and then he is said, enough of employment, now I want to get into entrepreneurship. Look at the scope he will have. Now he can just print, with whatever money that he's investing. He might say, sir, I have 50,000. मुझे अगले 6 महीने के लिए, next 6 months, I want to survive with this money. But I cannot, I don't want to waste my money or put this money as a business investment. I don't have that kind of a strength. So this 6 months for my survival, I need this 50,000. So he keeps his 50,000 aside, and then he does not have the mental tension now to how to move. From first month onwards, he does not have that pressure, financial pressure on his head. Now what he does, he'll simply print his visiting cards, go to the companies which are doing integration. For example, there might be a Reneosys, which is module manufacturer. He might go there and this card. I'm Sutra, I've certified, I've worked for such a long time. Now I can do the installation part and then the OEM part also for you. So like this, he can go to n number of companies just sharing his card. Today, there is so much of demand for installers because the current scenario when I'm talking about today, post-COVID. The situation is that most of the people, most of the organizations are actually, offloading their work on a contract basis. Why? Because they are they don't have the financial strength after so much of lockdowns and so many things that are happening to hold on to employees. One. Second, there is also pain because most of the employees who are working in the cities have moved into their own villages because of the scare of COVID, getting infected. Unfortunately, it is a truth that people who have moved into the villages, they have taken COVID along with them into the villages. That's a different story altogether. But the fact is, most of them have moved out. So there are less number of hands in the cities for these integrators who can do installations properly. Assume that this particular guy goes and knocks 10 people, 10 organizations and says that I have this knowledge, I have this certificate, I have the knowledge, I have done work, I have installed so many things. He can show n number of photographs and all that, what he has done, and distributes his card and comes back. I can assure you that he will get at least a bare minimum of 6 to 7 installations in a week's time. In 1 week's time. How he is getting? Can he get if he's not certified? Can he get if he's not worked for at least for a certain period of time? Assume 3 installations he has done, 4 installations he has done. By working in one organization earlier, he has done around 3 to 4 installations. That's more than enough. It would have given him the entire idea of how to do an installation because he would have dirtied his hands along with the that is used up in a classroom. When he is dirtying his hands, he is applying his knowledge also. Automatically, there is refinement, and then it becomes easier for him to do the work. So he is having an extra edge over an untrained person, where this person can go and just by distributing cards, visiting cards, and showing some photographs to the installation department of every organization, he gets some work immediately. One more thing. Assume that the same guy goes again and says that, boss, I can also maintain your systems. I can take AMC with the customers where he has installed. He goes and keeps in contact with them, and then he maintains that system thoroughly for 1 year, 1.5 years, based on whatever is the earlier, the integrator's role. Once the integrator role is moved out, then this guy takes over and then takes AMCs. Look at the AMC possibility. For example, information I'll give you a small bite. There's a company in US. This was told to me in 2008 in IIT, 2007 in IIT. This company started a small company in a garage, which used to clean the gases on the facades. Building facades के ऊपर जो glass लगते हैं, उसको साफ करने वाला company है. You know what is the turnover today? It is almost about $70 billion. That is the kind of turnover that company is doing. Just cleaning, nothing else. They go with specialized liquids, people, safety gear, and the equipment, just clean the facades and come back. And their company is $1 billion worth of company. That's the kind of turnover that they do. So imagine if you pick up an opportunity where we will just clean the modules weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, and then we will take care of the entire, we will do a visual inspection of the cables, whatever is required, we'll just give you a list, and we will take care of the battery part, we'll take care of the inverter part, all these things that which comes under O&M. This is also an opportunity that exists in the market, right? Installation, when we talk about, when any organization takes into the organization, these small organizations don't survive purely on rooftop solar power packs only. There are companies which do multiple activity. There are some candidates who have gone from our institute who have become experts in solar fencing activity. 3 of them have started their own company, and they take work from the people, from the organization, and then do installation of the solar fence. For some people who go and do solar water heating system installation and solar water heating, descaling of those systems, maintenance of those systems, those things. So end of opportunities. There's street light installation again, right? In Hyderabad, our company, my own company, we have done 300 DC home lighting systems. You know what is DC home lighting system? DC home requires separate grid be created within the house. The first objection that comes, sir, you want to run a parallel wiring? Can't you run it using the existing wiring? You cannot. Here you have to create a parallel lighting system, and you have to create a parallel wiring, you'll have a DC fan, you'll have an AC fan in the house, you'll have a DC light and an AC light in the house. These are the kind of parallel works. Even those kind of systems where parallelly has to happen, there are 300 such installations in Hyderabad itself. Look at the scope. How do you get this scope? Knowledge. What does knowledge do? Knowledge increases your vision. The higher you study, I'll give you one more example here. When we start studying higher and higher, what happens? Your knowledge will actually open up your third eye, and then you can see for a distance clearly. Your visibility depends, or your clarity depends on the knowledge that you have in your brain. How far you can run. When you're running, what might be the obstacles that you might get? How do you overcome those obstacles? You will be able to plan for overcoming those obstacles. If you don't have this knowledge and vision, what is going to happen? I'm going to run. You might fall, you might hurt yourself, you might break your leg, you might actually at one point of time say, I am not going to do this. It is not my cup of tea. But the knowledge, what it does, it doesn't allow you to do that. It will allow you to actually plan your every move carefully, analyzing what are the difficulties, what are the blocks that might come up, how to do it, how to handle it, how many people are required, what is required, everything, every step by step, inch by inch, it will give you that kind of a vision to plan and execute your vision. These are the kind of opportunities that most of us, unfortunately today, is what is happening is all of us or most of us, are concentrating at the 100 kilowatt, 50 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt and above. And how many people exactly can actually afford those kind of installations? Nobody is thinking about it. If you want a clean 20% of yours after a hard work, not for free. So after a hard work, then concentrate at 500 watt, 1000 watt, 2000 watt. This is where the market is. 3000 watt rooftops. Now 3 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt, 1 kilowatt, 0.5 kilowatt. This is where the market is. This is where money is. Entrepreneurship, we are entering into entrepreneurship not for charity. We are entering into entrepreneurship to make money. And there is the minute you get into an entrepreneurship, there are a lot of responsibilities that are going to come on you. It is your responsibility because so many people whom you are going to employ, they and their families are dependent on you. And if they are supposed to, and it is your responsibility to take care of them, for which you need money. So very clearly, your target audience has to be very, pre-decided. Whom, how much, very clearly, I am going to do this business for my 20%. The minute you start compromising, अरे यार वो rate कम दिया, कम कर दूंगा, मैं 15 में चले जाऊंगा. यार कोई और आ गया 12% दे, 12 दे दिया मैं 10 में कर दूंगा, अरे 8 दे दिया मैं 7 में कर दूंगा, अरे यार इस प्रोजेक्ट में मुझे प्रॉफिट ही नहीं चाहिए, बिकॉज रेफरेंसेस बिल्ड हो जाएंगे. कुछ नहीं होता वैसे. दिस इज ऑल ट्रिक्स which will take you down the line. Basically what is required here is you should be clear of what is your percentage. Don't waver from the percentage that you have fixed for yourself, but earn that percentage with clear quality goals. Link them with the quality goals. Don't compromise quality. My systems are 10% costlier than, the recent incident I'll tell you, just which happened last Sunday. There is a group housing that has come up in Hyderabad in one of the locations. It is called APR Senator, 150 villas. We have gone and done a study and said 8 kilowatt is the rooftop system which we recommended based on the space and also the loads that are there. The buildings are under construction right now. Now, my quote was 45,000 for a non-elevated structure. If it is an elevated structure that they want, elevated is, we raise that structure up on the roof, which is on the north side, it would be around 6 feet, and on the south side, on the south side, it will be 6 feet, and then on the north side, it will be 8 feet. This is called an elevated structure, so that they can use that bottom space. So elevated structure, if it is a 5 kilowatt, they have to pay me additionally 25,000. And if they have to pay, if it is an 8 kilowatt, that is 35,000. Now, my immediate competitor who was there, how much he gave? It is 36,000 for a non-elevated structure. And for an elevated structure, he plus 15,000. Believe me, if you compromise on these, then I have to compromise on the quality. I'm talking about monoperk, 550 watt peak module. He is talking about 365 watt peak module, 335 watt peak module polycrystalline. I'm talking about an MPPT grid tie inverter of the best of the make, right? And he's talking about, a local inverter. Local inverter, it does not mean that, it is too low in standard. I'm talking about the quality wise. It is much lesser than what we were giving, right? We were giving ABB and these people were giving less than that. So compromises can be made where and then the price can be brought down. But what is the net effect? What will be the net effect of all these reduction in prices, cutthroat competitions and all that? To hear and listen and compete is very good. But the net effect of it is you have to change your mobile number very frequently. If if your old customer is coming across you, you will have to change your route, de-plan and de-route yourself from in another direction and then go away. Because if you come forward in front of him, he will say, you have cheated me because you have not given me the product that you have promised. So here, entrepreneurship comes with a lot of responsibility. Entrepreneurship comes with, you have to get into entrepreneurship with knowledge. You have to get into entrepreneurship with skills. And what are the skills that is required? Only technical. Technical to a certain extent is absolutely right, but beyond that technical, you need to understand your finances. You need to understand marketing. You have to plan your strategies. You have to know how to hit and how manpower management. You should know where to procure your materials, what to procure, how to pitch. Pitching is again sales. How do you pitch your product? Everything, you should be a master. Reason why I'm saying you should be a master is, at any point of time, you're down the line will look at you for guidance. And in that point of time, you can't open your mouth and say, I'm sorry, this particular topic I'm not aware of. The minute you say that, you lose your respect because you are a leader. So for an entrepreneur, first and foremost place is, aggregating knowledge, working for some time. You don't need to go and work as a installer. What you can very well do is you can actually market few systems, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, and then link up with one of the integrators, give him the project, and then whenever the execution is happening, right from procurement onwards to the execution and then handing over stage stuck, you are physically present and observing. Observation makes a world of difference. How do children learn from parents? By observation. Sometimes when you are at home, if any one of you, you must have heard as children, a lot of people who come into your house and say, "Arey, you look, your behavior is equal to that of your father. You behave like your father. You behave like your grandfather. You behave like your mother." This behavioral changes. Yes, there is an impact. This impact happens because of the observation. And that's why you have to observe 3, 4 projects. Once you are confident, then you have to move in and then start looking at. But while doing this observation and learning, you have to plan your enterprise. Now, when we say planning, what is the kind of planning that you have to do? Plan, what is the kind of project that I'm going to get into? Am I going to be a system integrator? Am I going to be an investor? Am I going to work on a booth model? Am I going to work on a RESCO model? Or I am going to work simply as a designer? What kind of things that I'm going to integrate into my business model? Reason, based on what you are choosing, there is a financial implication. When we talk about financial implication, now the next thing that I'm going to ask is, what is your investment capacity? Which you have to ask yourself. Most of the people who come for entrepreneurship development programs to us say, "Sir, we do an interview before we take people to this particular ADP programs that we conduct, and we reject a lot of people." The reason why we reject is they come with an, "Sir, मैं आपका course कर दूंगा ना. The minute I do your course, there is a bank loan that I will get. The government will give me under that scheme. This person will give me under that scheme." Believe me, taking out money from the pocket is the most difficultest item on the agenda. Until unless it is your own money, at least a bare minimum to start with. Nobody is going to give you money. I am the biggest example, boss. You will not get money just like that the minute you go to a bank or any financial institution or any investor. You have to invest your money, show your commitment, prove submit the proof of the pudding, and then people will come forward and then fund you. So you should have the initial investment. For that, you should know how much exactly is there in your pocket, which will not affect you financially. I'm stressing on the word financially because, most of the cases, the problem that happens here is your people invest whatever they have in their pocket. And then in one fine day, when the opportunity really comes knocking, to execute that opportunity, people don't have money. They hands up. They don't have the money. The entire effort collapses like a pack of cards. That kind of thing should not happen with you. For that, you should really understand the money that you have. When you're talking about money understanding, assume that you have 100 rupees, then the first thing that you should understand is the minute you get into the business, nobody is going to call you, invite you, and then give you orders. You have to do marketing activity. You have to do a lot of footwork before you get your first order. Until unless you are going to your own family and friends, which you should not do. It should be the last thing that you should do. So if you have to do that, do what? The legwork, you need money. For what? It might be printing visiting cards, it might be preparing your brochures and then getting them printed, holding in your hand, right? It might be your day-to-day conveyance that you require to move around and give, because initially, sir, I'm starting my office and then, what I'm going to do is I'm recruiting 10 people. And these 10 people are going to do marketing for me. You're burning money, because marketing is the most trickiest part. And exactly, if you have to give a direction to marketing towards the goals that you are setting up, you should have experience in marketing. Otherwise, you'll be taken for a solid ride. Sir, I have visited 10 people. These are the names, these are the phone numbers. I've gone there. Everybody said no. Tomorrow, sir, one customer showed little interest. So tomorrow I'm going to go there, sir. Again, I'm going to pitch it. And this can continue for 2-3 months. And this 3 months, you're paying them salaries and conveyance. This is the most trickiest part, for which you have to do your legwork for you to understand where the market is. Segmentation. How do you identify which are the prospective customers? How to identify, if I'm giving you a sheet, data sheet, saying that, sir, these are the n number of people that I've met. And this is what I know. The marketing guy is coming and telling you, this is what has happened. This is what has happened. He's just giving an oral brief to you. You should be able to put your finger and say, okay, follow up this person. This person looks more positive. Take these 2 people out. You don't need to go back to them. So when did this person come? Please, when you go, I will also come to him, because I can convince him better than what you're doing. So let us go there, because you're finding this particular person very prospective. It makes a lot of sense for you to invest your time and energy in convincing that particular customer. You got a lead and you're converting it into a customer. In this particular case, it is better you go. So if you have to get to that level, then you should do your own legwork first. You should understand how to close deals. You should know how to talk to people. You should know how to do a presentation. You should know how to submit, whom to target. And as you do this, you will realize through your entire marketing effort that customer segmentation is very critical. What do you mean by customer segmentation? Assume that I'm going into an area which consists of, kindly don't take anything personal here. I'm just giving you examples. Assume that I'm going into a middle class, colony kind of a thing, and then I'm trying to sell a Porsche or an Audi car in a middle class area. How many people can actually afford an Audi? How many people can actually afford a Porsche, right? So your entire effort is going down the drain. You're wasting not only money, but also time. For this particular product, you have to go into a high-end area where high net worth individuals who can afford this particular kind of a vehicle should be there. You will learn this when you do your legwork. So you are very clear tomorrow when you are strategizing and sending, you've employed a lot of marketing people. Now you know where to focus their energies to get the best of results. There, I am looking at 1 kilowatts and 2 kilowatts or 3 kilowatt maximum. Go to this particular residential area and today do a road show. Put up a tent, hold your brochures, go door knocking, do a cold call, and then get me the leads. I'm looking at 100 kilowatt and above. This is the industrial area where industries are working. So I want you to do this particular thing in that corporate, in that industrial area, because there is a lot of energy demand in that area. And we might work on a boot model or on a lease model or some other model in that particular location. So this plan is different and this plan is different. You will be able to do this only when you learn. So legwork is very important. Look at the kind of knowledge that you require to actually get into entrepreneurship. Do I have time, Ram, or hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, you're
Hello?
audible.
Do I have time, or how is it?
Vamsi, you have all the time, but I think, honestly speaking, it has been so interesting that I was glued to the screen. So
Yes,
it
sir.
has been very good. I think we will have to really plan something, sort of a series with you, so that people can take advantage. But at this stage, I think I would suggest that you can wind up.
Sir.
Okay. But
Sure,
it
sure,
is
sir. Thank you.
becoming
Sure, sir.
interesting.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you offline on this.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. So before getting into entrepreneurship, kindly empower yourself with the right skill sets, right knowledge, get yourself dirty your hands, plan yourself, sustain so that you can be sustainable in this enterprise. All the very best to each one of you. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was
Thank you.
indeed a very enlightened session, and you have captured most of the point related to the entrepreneurship concept basically. So how a people, if they want to be come in this business, what sector they have to be understand, how they have to be understand the business model which is already in existence. So that was very entertaining session. I hope our participant has been benefited out of this, and in future still we are connected with many of the tourists. If they have, it get address here, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear participant, for being part of this
Thank you.
webinar series.
Prem, I think I would suggest. I see most of these participants are the same as they were in the world skill sessions.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? Most of them are the same. Ask if they want to suggest any specific topic on which they have any problem, difficulty, and they would like to cover.
Yes, sir. So, dear participant, hello. So, dear participant, you can suggest any topic on which you want, a specific knowledge to be delivered to you. Anyone of you would like to speak and suggest any topic you want to be,
Yes, sir. I am prepared to give a lecture on entrepreneurship in biogas technology, sir. If the opportunity is given, I will be able to give it.
Sir, you are from
Amrit from International Institute of Renewable Energy, Nerd Society, Coimbatore, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay. So, biogas obviously will be the part of
Amrit ji, how are you? Dr. Saxena here.
At least after the session, I thought to.
You have to give that session.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
You have to plan a session on biogas and entrepreneurship in biogas. What are the potential and all?
Definitely, sir. Yes, sir.
Start planning that.
Okay, with pleasure, sir. I am ready, sir.
You don't need a session from anybody else.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
So, student, especially for your side, if you can propose any topic, any one of you would like to speak and suggest. Okay. Ram, I think they have to given the permission to speak if
Sir,
somebody.
they have the permission, sir.
Yes. So, dear participant, again, I'm just requesting you, please suggest any topic if you would like to, would want to be addressed here in this webinar series.
Sir, you can also drop your email address on the chat box. So if they later,
So they are already in the group. I think they can also suggest on the group, WhatsApp group we have created, on which they can also suggest that on what topic they want our next session to be conducted.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, Roshan. Yes.
Sir, I want a session on the system design, sir, SPV plant design, such as sir PVSys or Google SketchUp, how to design a SPV plant, sir.
Okay, so you want on the design parameter. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay. So sure, we can plan on that. Maybe one session could be on design, sir. I think with your permission, sir, we can organize one session on design, sir. So
yeah, in fact, what I would like to suggest that if students are interested, that we can start now, maybe from next week or next week, from the once again revising them on the basics of solar, okay, and then moving to a little advanced course, and then once again maybe request Mr. Vamsi Krishna to come back and talk about.
Sure, sir. I think that will be a good idea, sir. We can start with the basics of solar. 2 or 3 sessions on basics of solar, and then we can gradually move to the advanced solar trainings like designing or entrepreneurship.
And that would
that
be
can be
sort
covered,
of a
sir.
revision.
That's a fairly good idea, sir.
That would be a sort of revision for all these, and maybe for the new people to join. So maybe after a week or so, let us plan a series of, for example, a subset of 5 or 7 lectures, moving from one point to another point. Prem, what I would suggest, just plan it on a piece of paper. What should be the, for example, 5 or 7 series which we should plan, and the speakers could be different, and we can give them that this is the series where you are fitting in here, you are fitting in there, and that's how probably the audience would also gradually move from. They have been given training, but we will also have new people to join. So that's how I would suggest we plan as far as solar is concerned. Once we have done with solar, then we can move to wind, and then we can move to, for example, biogas or biomass. That's how I propose.
yes, sir, that will be a very good idea, sir. We can start through the basic, since a lot of participant is new and they need to understand all the aspect of the solar energy, sir. So we will plan, sir, accordingly, and session will be delivered as per that plan, sir.
So as far as what I would suggest, when I come on Monday, let us discuss about the topics, but probably the next session could be typically on involving what is world skills, how world skill competitions are done, and something to talk about that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Wherein we can bring in Abhinav Shukla, and
Yeah.
if required, Ms. Ruchi Parekh can speak for some time about the world skills, and then Abhinav Shukla can take over as to what we are planning, and following that probably we can have a series of solar sessions. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. We can plan accordingly, sir.
Yeah. Okay then.
Right.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Vamsi.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you, dear participant. Thank you, Vamsi, sir.
Thank you.